Hi there, I'm IRK, and this is my channel Get IRK'd. In this episode, Virgin Galactic, the future of space tourism or a raging dumpster fire in space. Before we get started, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, that'd really help me out. Thank you so much. In this episode of Speculating In, we're going to take a look at Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE. Virgin Galactic was started by Richard Branson as a space tourism company where people could actually visit space themselves. It initially started as a SPAC, or a special purpose acquisition company. There are a lot of differences between a SPAC and an IPO, or an initial public offering. But in short, SPACs are a way for rich investors to get together, collect their money, and then find a company within 2 years in order to buy. Virgin Galactic was the first SPAC in quite a while because SPACs have a bad reputation. In fact, throughout 2021, there were so many SPACs that came public that ended up going bad that they probably have a bad reputation again. You've probably seen Virgin Galactic in the news as they made it into their test flight and Richard Branson flew into space. However, you may have also heard that there are a lot of issues facing the company. For instance, there are a number of short sellers that claim that Virgin Galactic will never be able to make enough money to actually make a profit. Additionally, these same short sellers suggest that Virgin Galactic can't land enough capital in order to be able to build a second ship. Also, although there are a lot of ticket pre-orders that have been sold, it has no revenue right now, so it's running on the capital investment that it gets. Because of all this, there aren't any real fundamentals to look at with Virgin Galactic, so instead, let's go to the charts. While it might look like this chart is extremely volatile, you have to take a closer look at the range and see that it's only been traveling between about $9.80 and $11 at this point. Let's see what happened after it came public. You can see that initially it had a pretty good pop, having a high of about $12.93 within a few days of coming public. But shortly after that, the bottom really fell out, and I decided to open a position on Halloween in 2019, with a buy that filled at $9.87, giving me a per share cost of $9.87, of course, on a day where it closed at $9.41, leaving me down 4.66%. After my first buy, I decided to wait a couple days to see where it might head next, and it headed down. On November 5th, I made my second buy at $8.65, which lowered my per share cost by 6.18% to $9.26. The stock closed the day at $9.68, which gave me a profit of 4.54%. However, Virgin Galactic was not done going down. As you can see, a week or two later, Virgin Galactic hit its all-time low down here at $6.90. And it was at this point that I actually referred to the stock as a raging dumpster fire in space on my blog. It had collapsed more than 30% from where it came public, and it made me and a lot of the other investors feel as though Richard Branson knew that this stock was going to fail and dumped his shares on the open market so that he could get a profit and get out. However, this wasn't the case, and Virgin Galactic just became even more crazy from here. On December 26, 2019, I made my first sell at $11.69. This lowered my per share cost by 5.29% to $8.77. The stock closed the day at $10.90, which gave me a profit of 24.29% at this point. And from here, Virgin Galactic just kept heading higher. Which brings me to my second sell on January 23, 2020 at $19.22. This lowered my per share cost 29.76% to $6.16. And since Virgin Galactic closed the day at $19.12, this gave me a profit of 210.39%. And Virgin Galactic still had more excitement in store as it headed even higher. On Valentine's Day, I made my third sell at $25.07. This lowered my per share cost 102.44% to negative 15 cents. What this means is I no longer have any capital in the position. All of the shares I have cost me nothing and instead add 15 cents to the bottom line of my portfolio in addition to each share's value. Virgin Galactic closed the day at $28.68, which gave me a 290.68% profit. This is calculated based on the initial investment that I made, since there's no longer any capital in the position. And even then, Virgin Galactic was not done. Virgin Galactic ended up hitting an all-time high in the 40s before crashing all the way back down. As you can see, throughout much of 2020, Virgin Galactic just kind of stayed flat until 2021, where the meme stocks got a hold of it again. And this brings us to my fourth sell on January 26, 2021 at $40.36. This sell lowered my per share cost to $20.40, a reduction of $20.25. The stock closed the day at $42.05, which left me with a profit of 421.96% above my initial investment. From here, Virgin Galactic continued even higher. This led me to my fifth sell on February 4th, 2021 at $59.20, lowering my per share cost to negative $100 per share, a reduction of $79.60 per share. And when Virgin Galactic closed the day at $54.72, that left me with a profit of 522.7%. Virgin Galactic sold off pretty fast at this point. I decided to make my third buy on March 4th at $29.10 as Virgin Galactic started to approach its 200-day moving average. I thought that it might find support there as it had in the past. I was wrong. My third buy went through at $29.10, which raised my per share cost to negative $35.45, an increase of $64.55 per share, and the stock closed the day at $30.30, which gave me a profit of 444.26%. After that, Virgin Galactic tested the 200-day before collapsing even further, leading to my next buy. My next buy was on May 11th, 2021 at $14.30. This increased my per share cost to $18.87, an increase of $16.59 per share. Virgin Galactic closed the day at $18.12, which meant I had a profit of 374.9%. And that's where it bottomed. It ended up going higher from here. Almost to the day, Virgin Galactic announced that it would be having a test flight, and it was off to the races from there. On June 25th, I had my sixth sell at $55.74. This decreased my per share cost to negative $56.17, a decrease of $37.30 per share, and Virgin Galactic closed the day at $55.91, which left me with a profit of 757.3%. And then, once again, Virgin Galactic crash lands. And that leads us to where we are now. So here I am holding a position. I've pulled quite a bit of profit out of it. What am I going to do next? I've noticed it actually respects the 200 weekly moving average. As you can see, the 200 weekly moving average, which only has just started developing, is down here at $16.81. But if you look at it historically, you could see that the line would pretty much be where it found support in the past. So that's my next buy target. However, I've got additional buy targets below that since it's actually found support before. So here are some of its lows. Down here at $14.27, down here at $9.06, and then its all-time low right back at the beginning at $6.90. In fact, even if it gets down to $6.90 and I've made my buys, I will still have double my investment out of the position in terms of profits. Once I've got all of my capital out of any position, I'm extremely hesitant to do anything but play with the house's money. I'd rather find a new place to put that capital rather than put it back in and risk screwing up a successful investment. Watch this video, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.